because that's always their first question. How can this person in front of me help me? Does this person whose website I've just landed on have the tools to help me right now? That's always the first question. Hi, and welcome to the Driven Female Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Melitta Campbell, award-winning business coach, best-selling author, value whisperer, and founder of the Dream Clients Blueprint, the proven system that guides you in defining, communicating, and selling your true value with ease and authenticity so you can feel proud of the positive impact you are creating for you and your clients. Right now, you can test the Dream Business Accelerator, which is the first step in the Dream Clients Blueprint, for 7 days for just $17. That's enough time for you to learn how to nail your niche and attract more clients, or create your signature system so you can put incredible offers out there that your clients can't wait to buy, or design your social media strategy and discover how to implement this in less than 30 minutes a day. You choose where to start and how much you achieve over the 7-day trial period. Visit melittacampbell.com/trial to get started. Each week on this show, I share practical business building advice from my own experience and the wisdom of a range of successful women. My aim is to help you dream bigger and achieve more by learning from what works and gaining tools, tips, and insights that will help smooth your path to success. And today I want to talk about how you can talk about your business without coming across as salesy or feeling fake and awkward in the process. I'm going to focus in on 3 of the biggest mistakes to avoid that I see all the time, and I'll be referring to some of my favorite TV shows to help me illustrate this as we go. So let's dive in. The first big mistake I see people making is not leading with value. And this came to me just the other day. I was watching Young Sheldon with my family, and there was a scene where the grandmother is trying to convince the eldest son, Georgie, who is, I think in the series, he's about 17, 18, and she wants him to work in her laundrette. And of course, a 17, 18-year-old boy is not interested in joining a laundrette. So she's giving him all these reasons. Oh, I'll pay you. You get to be the boss. You know, and he's like, no, I'm not interested. He's about to walk out the door, and then she pulls it out the bag. There's girls. Why didn't you lead with that? So when you're talking about your business, lead with what your ideal clients are most interested in and what's valuable to them. So it's not what you're interested in or what you want or want to tell them. It's all about what is going to connect with them. What are they looking for? For this, you need to really know your ideal clients and what they are thinking. You want to join that conversation that's going on in their mind. So in the case of Georgie, the conversation going on in his mind is very typical of most teenage boys, girls. And the minute she joined that conversation, he was with her. And he was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm in. She forgot to tell him that the girls she was referring to are all like 50, 60 plus. So he was not impressed when he arrived. So you do want to make sure that whatever value you lead with, you can actually fulfill and follow through on that promise, that you're not putting something out there and then disappointing people later. That is not going to work in your favor as you're building your brand and reputation. But during that conversation that's going on in their mind, what are their concerns? What are their aspirations? What's standing in their way? What are they really frustrated about? One thing I encourage my clients to think about is, imagine your ideal client. They've gone out with their friends. They've perhaps had a glass or 2 of Prosecco. What do they say? They just come out with, do you know what? I just want, what is that? I call it the tipsy statement. What is that one thing that they really, really want that's really annoying them? Like for a lot of my clients, like, I just want to help people. I just want to work with ideal clients, and I don't want to have to jump through hoops or sell my soul to get them. So what's the tipsy statement for your clients? And start there. Start with that value. And the more you talk about your clients and the outcomes that they're looking for, the more they're going to start to see themselves in your message and lean into what you're talking about. A great way to do this is to share some client stories. Share a story of a client you've helped who has the same aspirations or challenges or situation as the person in front of you that you're speaking with. Or if you're creating content for online, think about who is the typical person that's reading that content right now, or who is the person you want to reach out to most next? What is a client you've had in the past that has that same situation? So it's good to prepare a few of these client stories with different situations so that you can pull those out of your back pocket anytime you find yourself in front of a client who aligns with a previous client you've worked with. Now, of course, if you haven't worked with clients yet, then this can be tricky, but you can definitely go to your own client stories or use a TV show like Young Sheldon and the example I started with here to quickly illustrate that you understand the person that's in front of you. So that's the first tip. Lead with value and what's interesting for the other person. The second mistake people make is they talk about what they do, how they go about their work. What people are really interested in is the outcomes. What do they walk away with after working with you? So you kind of want to illustrate what you do backwards. Instead of this is what I do, and then they get this outcome, which is the way most people structure things because it's logical, it's chronological. You want to start the other way around. What is that big thing that people get after working with you? And then just show the highlights of that journey to back up and show the logic behind that. And my TV show that illustrates this perfectly is Derry Girls. And if you've ever seen Derry Girls and I say the word Uncle Colm, you'll know exactly what I mean. Uncle Colm, people groan when he comes in the room because he's like, oh, something really exciting happened. And then he proceeds to tell you every single tiny irrelevant detail along the way. Don't be an Uncle Colm when you're talking about your business and what you do. Don't go into all these tiny details. People don't really care. They just want to know, at this stage at least, what's in it for me. And don't use jargon like NLP and CSR and ESG. Unless you know the person in front of you knows what that means and has the same understanding as you do. So a lot of coaches talk about how they use NLP tools. However, even people that know what that is, some people think that's a really bad thing. They see NLP as a manipulative tool used by salespeople, and they don't want anything to do with that. So before you introduce anything, you want to make sure that they have the same understanding as you do, that they see this as a positive thing. And that's another mistake that people make, is they make assumptions and they put information out there without telling people what that means, which leaves it up to their interpretation. So, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. You may think, oh, well, that obviously means I'm really good at this and I have a lot of experience. But they may think, oh, the knowledge is out of date. I want someone a bit more current. So don't put information out there without explaining what that means. Don't make them think. Really give them that meaning. So the second thing is, don't go into details. Make sure everything is clear and has meaning, and talk about what you deliver afterwards. That's what people are really buying into, particularly when you're introducing your business. You can come to the details afterwards, but really focus in on, after working with me, clients get this amazing outcome. And then they're like, oh, tell me more. And you have permission to go into a little bit more of the detail. The third mistake I see a lot of the time, especially on websites and social media content, is people talking about themselves first. The TV show that illustrates this for me is Community. It's about a study group within a community college. And over time in the TV series, everything becomes about them. And quite often, other characters in the show groan when anything happens with this group. And they're like, oh, it's always about you. And they don't like that. They feel very left out. They feel irrelevant. They feel like they're not being heard and included. So you want to make sure that at the very beginning of all of your content, all of the ways you talk about your business, you are starting with them, that they are the star of the show from the beginning. So go back and look at your content. Have you started any paragraphs or any pages with I, we, or our? See if you can turn those around to talk about you and your, because that's going to signal that you are talking directly to your clients and bringing them into the conversation from the beginning. It's all about them. It's not about you. Avoid talking about details like we were established in, because again, that's all about you. It's nothing about them. What's in it for them? Or I used to do, a while ago, I was networking and this guy presented himself and he was extremely senior. He was a consultant, but he talked about all the things he used to do. And so everyone was really confused. It's like, but what do you do now? How can you help me now? It was all about him. There was nothing in what he was talking about that helped the audience understand what he could offer for them. So make sure that you turn that around. Everything you talk about is all about your clients and how you can help them, because that's always their first question. How can this person in front of me help me? Does this person whose website I've just landed on have the tools to help me right now? That's always the first question. So make sure you answer that first. So I hope you found that helpful. If you lead with value, talk about the afters and the outcomes and make it all about them, not you, you're going to see a lot more engagement from all of your communications, and people are going to want to hear you talk about your business because they can see how it's interesting to them, how it's going to help them, and it's all focused on them and their needs. And that is music to most people's ears. So come along to the Dream Clients Club and let me know, what was your takeaway from today? Has any of this resonated with you? And what are you going to try next when you're talking about your business to help you start to connect and attract more of your ideal clients? And of course, in the Dream Business Accelerator that you can now trial for 7 days for just $17, there is a lot more content to help you do this. And in 7 days, you'll be able to drill down on exactly who is your ideal client, or exactly how can you construct an offer that's going to really appeal to them and attract them immediately, or exactly how can you create content that's going to speak to your ideal client and attract them step by step into your business. It's packed with information that's really going to help you create a solid foundation for your business and grow your business much more easily and communicate your value through all of your interactions and everything that you do. And right now, you can jump in and trial that for 7 days. Go to melittacampbell.com/trial to test that out for yourself. Thank you for joining me today. There are a lot more tools, tips, and insights coming up for you in the next episode. So don't miss next week's show, or better still, subscribe now so you never miss your weekly dose of inspiration. I've been Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.